Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 8 U.S. Battleship North Carolina. It has 9 main guns, 20 secondary guns, 94 AA guns, a top speed of 24.7 knots. Total health, 53,700. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main battery, increased AA range, reduced flood and fire chance, faster rudder shift. And for my commander, situational awareness, basic survivability, basic firing training, faster turret traverse, lower cooldown on damage control, and advanced firing training. We are on the map North. I spawned in the northeast side. My team is committed to a CD strategy. I am going to provide fire support for B and C. D is really covered by islands. It's really hard for me to provide the same fire support for D that I can provide to C. And we see an enemy Alba trying to stop us from capturing B. So I would love to put fire on his position. We see an enemy Colorado, but he disappears from view. Clearly, a friendly destroyer is not spotting the enemy at Colorado, so I cannot see him. The only enemy that's in my view is this enemy Alba, and there's an island in the way, so I have to wait for him to show up. We see the Colorado show up, but we're committed to the Alba at this point. We know he's going to be right in front of us. He's moving towards our position, and we have to lower our elevation slightly because of this. We're able to land a single shot on him, do almost no damage, but we do defend the base, so there's something there. Friendly Farragut is right on top of him, sends out a torpedo spread. We'll see how successful this spread is. We are ready to fire on his position if it isn't successful, but the Farragut lands his torpedoes and takes out the enemy Alba. In doing so, nobody's capturing B, so it's left neutral. We are in the middle of trying to capture D. Unfortunately, we lose a friendly destroyer that was capturing D, so we have to try and recapture it. Looks like a lot of enemies are headed to D. Perhaps their strategy was also C and D, but we are overlooking B, obviously. We can kind of see over C. We can kind of see over A. We're waiting for that Colorado to show back up because we know he's in the area. So we lead the target. We try and get a waterline shot. He's moving away slightly. So we raise the elevation just a hair. And this is among the first games in this ship for me, so it was a little bit different to the Colorado. I was just trying to get used to it. It's completely stock, and we do pretty good damage on that enemy Colorado. We're able to land pretty good shots. There's something in the vicinity of B sending torpedoes towards my friendlies. Don't know where the enemy destroyers are. There's 3. And we don't have any idea where those 3 are. Don't see them anywhere on the map. One shows up at B. We're going to try and fire on his position. We lead the target. It appears that he's going one direction, and he's not changing course. We were able to land a shot. We disrupted his ability to capture. If we would have led a little bit more, we would have probably done more damage. Either way, it's a hard shot, hitting a destroyer at long range. And you shouldn't be afraid of that. You should try and help your team. We see that there's another enemy destroyer at A. So 2 of the 3 remaining enemy destroyers, we know generally where they are. We've lost everything at D. And we've got to try and take back something. Capture B, maybe capture A. We can't allow the enemy to capture D and B. And the Mutsuki is hiding, perhaps? Maybe he thought he was invisible. But I try and fire on his position. He clearly is moving much faster than I initially predicted, and none of those rounds are going to make any contact with the enemy. We got a friendly destroyer trying to capture B, but he moves away from B. Why leave B? We lose capture on B. Friendly dies at A, and I'm trying to move towards A to support the friendly destroyer, at least kill the enemy destroyer. They're right on top of each other. We're going to have a chance to fire on this enemy Alba, who is trying to angle himself towards A. Enemy North Carolina. Okay, 2 of the 3 enemy destroyers are at A. We land 3 shots on the enemy Alba, but we don't see how much damage we did. Hopefully the Fletcher can take this guy down. He is 2 tiers higher. The enemy destroyer is pretty low. And I'm not going to be able to reload in time to help out with that destroyer. The enemy destroyer sends out torpedoes. Is the Fletcher going to avoid these torpedoes? He certainly killed them. Okay, cool. The Fletcher's safe. Those torpedoes headed our way, so we need to be aware. We're going to fire on the Sims position with our front guns. Most destroyers just don't expect battleships to fire on them at this distance, and we land a shot, we do minimal damage with AP, the Alba shows up, we've done 5k to the Alba. Okay, we can deal with both of these ships, we just need to be careful. The Sims, probably running with the default torpedoes, so very, very, very close range. And the Alba, again, the Alba is a tier 6 Japanese cruiser. She's alright. She's moving broadside though. So if we can line up a nice waterline shot, we should be able to devastate his position. He turns into us, so a lot of our rounds are going to miss. One, thankfully, lands and does 5k damage. The friendly Fletcher sent out torpedoes. The Alba has to maneuver for it. Take minimal damage. We have almost all our guns ready to go. And he's going to take a single torpedo and he gets obliterated. Fantastic. Good job, Fletcher. So we got B and C. They have A and D. There's an enemy Sims at A somewhere. And he's just going to run away. That's what you guys do. You destroyers just run. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of all this power. I know what you want to do. You want to hound us, send out torpedoes when we're least expecting it, and then you seek all that glory from your team. Good job, you took out the enemy battleship. It's not really useful for me to capture A. It's much better for me to provide fire support for my team while they capture. The destroyers are much better at sneaking in, capturing the base, and then retreating without the enemy knowing where they're going. I'm just a big battleship. They can see me a mile away. We have range on an enemy North Carolina, but only barely, near our max range. I could use my scout. It could increase my range, and I could attempt to fire on the North Carolina at extreme long range, but I'm not really going to land those shots, I think. I think what would better help my team is to try and take out any enemies that show up. 2 enemy destroyers do appear. I would love to take out one of these destroyers. We've got our guns reloaded. We're going to try and train on this Mutsuki. He's got 9,000 hit points, and the island is just in the way. We don't have a clear shot at this guy. The Sims disappears. Enemy destroyer sent out torpedoes that we have to deal with, and the North Carolina stock is a little sluggish with the rudder, and she's rather large, but it's not really an issue. The torpedoes deactivate before they reach us. Friendly destroyer captures D. We're about to capture A. The enemy is trying to capture C. We don't have any clues on where the enemy could be right now. We are detected, but we don't see who's detecting us, and they drop off almost immediately. So I'm just going to head down the line, try and run into the enemy. We have torpedoes coming our way, but they're clearly missing us, so it's not a big deal. We have an enemy North Carolina who's gotten 2 kills we have to deal with. 2 enemy cruisers and 2 enemy destroyers. So I'm a little worried. This North Carolina probably is upgraded, probably a better player than me with this ship. Again, second game on this ship, still getting used to it. Enemy Otago hasn't taken any damage, and he's over by C. Friendly destroyer spots him. An enemy is on B right now. We don't see him, most likely the enemy destroyer that was seen for half a second. This is the guy that sent the torpedoes. We know he sees us. We don't see him. And he's just going to play chicken. He's going to run, keep us spotted, and he's going to capture B before we can stop it. Conversely, we could go to C, run into most likely the enemy battleship and the enemy cruisers, and take them out. We have 3 friendly ships at A. Don't know what they're doing. Are they going to continue past A and help us move down the line to fight the enemy? And the friendly is suggesting that I take B. Well, I don't really want to take B. B is scary. Torpedoes are scary in the stock North Carolina. Rudder shift is sluggish. The upgraded hull has a much better rudder shift time. So it will be easier for me to react to torpedoes, but not right now. And I'm just trying to decide, should I go to B, like the guy suggests, or should I go to C? And we're just going to go to B. We can't make it to C. Most likely the enemy's going to be out of the area. We know that an enemy cruiser is capturing D right now. We see another enemy cruiser spotted by the friendly destroyer, and we are very afraid that we'll lose based on cap. Most likely the friendly destroyer is dead, he's very low, and he's a Mutsuki. Poor soul, having to play a Mutsuki of all ships. The enemy battleship is also spotted, so all of the big guns are over by D. And they just killed the Mutsuki. They're going to capture D. We need to stop B. There's nothing else we can do. We look for a fire position on the enemy North Carolina, but he drops off because we don't have anything spotting him. We're all over by A. We are the only ship that the enemy sees currently, so perhaps that will cause them to play into our hands. We have the destroyers and the cruisers that can run silent, ambush the cruisers and the battleships. We have yet to see another enemy destroyer other than the one who captured B. So there's a lot of mystery in this game, and it's still real early. This game still has 7 minutes, and friendly spots the enemy destroyer. Clearly the destroyer did not expect to be spotted by the friendly Fletcher. The other enemy destroyer is right at B. It would have been a hornet's nest if I would have attempted to move in and to stop these guys. It's much more even with me and 2 friendly destroyers. We fire on the Sims. We do massive damage with AP. He is able to avoid all of the torpedoes. Secondaries are going off. He disappears. And initially I was going, you've run aground. It would have been so disappointing to have to get run over by a battleship, but secondaries, they take that away from me. We lose the Fletcher in the fight, and I don't know what this enemy destroyer is doing. Is he hiding? Did he run aground? Is he trying to bait me to get close? I'm trying to decide what way he's going to escape. It looks like he ran aground and he's backing up, but the island's in the way. We can barely see him. We fire as close to the enemy as we can. We take him out. He sends out torpedoes. Friendly destroyer is able to avoid the torpedoes. And now we're running into the North Carolina. Oh boy. This is scary. 3v3. We know all the enemies are coming towards our position, and they're able to fire on my position because I'm just a giant battleship. They're already firing on a friendly. The enemy battleship is showing his side rather well, so it's going to be a pretty easy shot for me. We're able to do 4k damage with 1 shell making contact. And we fire our front guns. And we're not leading him quite as much, but we do get a citadel penetration, 17,000. Doing that much damage really is going to impact his game. He can't be quite as aggressive. And we lose our friendly cruiser, unfortunately. And it's 2v1. We know there's another enemy cruiser somewhere. And you can just see slowly his turrets traverse towards us. And no, I'm not going to go towards them. That's suicidal. I'm going to kite them. If we get a kill, we have an advantage again. So I'm going to keep my ship angled. Only his back guns can fire on me. He has to show his side. We're waiting for that. We fire. It'll probably take the time the shell has to travel, and he should be showing his side. And we're able to do nothing, right? We hit the superstructure, and he wants me to get the Mogami. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not showing my side for that. I'm going to try and run. I'm going to try and force the enemies to follow me. You can see the friendly destroyer. He's being sneaky. He's trying to sneak around. We got to be very careful not to run aground. We're rather large. We're fully reloaded, and we're ready to go. North Carolina, angled. So we're not going to have as much success as that citadel penetration, but we should be able to do some damage. We do 8k damage, not bad. We're taking a ton of shots. We use our health. We want to get behind this island and limit the number of enemies that can fire on our position. And we're just not in a good spot. We're taking too much fire. We gotta stay alive. We gotta survive. We got one last shot on the North Carolina as we round this island. we see that someone is capturing B. The round hits, does nothing to the North Carolina. He's going to fire on our position. We're showing our back, which is bad. Straight back is easy shot, and yep, 8k damage. Okay, we know there's an enemy capturing B. We send out our scout plane to peer over the island and tell us exactly where they are. If we can get an idea of the angling of the enemy, we can better prepare for our chance to fire on them. So we see that the Mogami's headed north. We see the enemy Mogami's fighter. We're trying to take it out with our AA. It either goes out of range or AA takes it out. Okay. So now we just need to be prepared for the time that we have the opening to fire on the enemy Mogami. We're still spotted. We're going to use this gap in this island to fire on his position with AP. All our guns are ready to go. Just need the enemy to show up. He fires on our position. We find him a little bit high of the waterline because he's moving away. And we do 24,000 points of damage. Take out the Mogami. And now we are in the lead. We need to survive. We have an enemy cruiser and an enemy battleship to worry about. And, oh crap, he sent out torpedoes. Of course he sent out torpedoes. Get your butt through the torpedoes. Go, go, go. Oh, we're only going to take one. It causes flooding. We use damage control. We got to turn, use our guns against the Otago. Use them against him. He's got HE loaded. You can see the explosion. He's doing very tiny amounts of damage. Don't know if the North Carolina has a shot on us, but we have a nice, clean broadside on this guy. Waterline shot, slightly below, because he's moving towards us. And we do 31,000 points of damage to the guy. We are in Confederate high caliber. He sends out torpedoes. We are spamming our heal button. We're barely alive. We get it off, and we need to angle for the torpedoes. So we're not going to have access to our front guns. We will have our back gun, but we just can't hit these torpedoes. And the stock North Carolina is so sluggish. All right. Looks like we're going to be cool. We're cool, baby. Let's get a nice, clean shot, take out the Otago, and win the game, okay? Waterline shot. Oh, barely too high on the superstructure. We do minimal damage. He sets us on fire. Our damage control is down. We can't use it. Oh, no. We got 15 seconds on the gun. Can we reload and fire before we die? We're taking 250 a tick. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, fire! No! We die right as we have the ability to fire on his position, but the friendly destroyer captured D, and we were taking enough points to compensate for my ship dying. The enemy attempts to capture A, but there's 20 seconds left. We've got this! If the destroyer stays alive, we win! Just stay alive, buddy! This guy is the ace of the game. Yeah, I did Confederate high caliber, but he gave us the win, and that's all I care about. And man, that game was slow for about 5 minutes, but then it really picked up at the end. And this North Carolina, she played a fantastic job. If I was just slightly better with it, wouldn't have been this close. 3 kills, base XP, 2,558. We did a ton of damage, 133,000 points of damage. I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.